Today is Black Monday, the day the Dow dropped more than 500 points.
Because we're now down 43%.
What in the world is happening on Wall Street?
Because here in the U.S., the stock market is on pace for its worst week since early October of 2008, when the financial crisis caused the worst week in stock market history.
And we've now gone below 13 trillion, which is eye-watering. It is unprecedented. We do see markets bouncing back.
Did not disappoint. 400 points higher. Yes, indeed. The market's 4 higher. Last 30 minutes of trading as volatility once again rules the day.
You're listening to the Colchester Briefing Show podcast on Anchor FM.
Alrighty. Welcome back to another edition of the Colchester Briefing Podcast. My name is Jason Bett and I will be your host for this podcast, the Colchester Briefing. Yes, it is now currently the 3rd of May 2020. We're on today. What day is it? I forgot what day is it. I think it was day 38 or day 39 into our COVID-19 lockdown. We're not entirely in a lockdown. I suppose we've hit now level 4. I don't know if you really can call this level 4, because from what I'm seeing, and I think what all of you can see is that it's almost back to normal. Okay, some shops are open. I think in the retail environment, especially your clothing shops where people are buying winter clothing, etc., and that cell phone shops. Your restaurants and that is not open yet, and your jewelry stores are not open yet. Strange enough, I've seen a biltong shop open. I don't know if a biltong shop can be considered as essential, but anyway, nonetheless, I suppose it is. But your supermarkets and all other shops, so we almost there. Provided that I suppose we all follow the train of thought that the government has been implementing, where everyone is now acting as police officers, and they basically, it's my job. I got to walk, in the environment that I work in, I got to walk past people and I got to say, "Sir, man, please put your mask on." But when you see the public do it, it's not right. It's like now they've become now police officers and they are upholding the law now. Man, put your mask on. It's crazy. Anyway, the podcast I have tonight with Louis Henderson, it's about cryptocurrency. We speak a little bit about cryptocurrency, which I have before. But he's got this proposal that he wants to share with you, and I think it sounds good. Proposal for replacement of national currency, the transparent and accountable system. So yes, let's get into it. Let's get into the podcast and let's hear what Louis got to say about this proposal that he wants to introduce. And bearing in mind, and I asked the question. I asked the question about fiat currency, which is paper money. When will that day come? When will that day come that fiat currency will become no longer? It will be null and void, where we have to rely on cryptocurrency. And people are doing it out there, but there's a lot of people out there that's still skeptical about it, and they say yes, and it might work, and it might be the future. And I'm going to tell you now, I think it is. I think cryptocurrency is the way forward, and it's going to help us. But a lot of people will see it as negative and that. But yeah, listen to what Louis is saying. And then you decide for yourself. There's a couple of links after the podcast that I'll plug into the description. His Facebook link. Go into it and read his proposal. He's going to briefly touch on it in the podcast. But listen to the podcast, and then afterwards decide if you want to be interested in what he's got to say. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Louis, are you there? How are you, Louis?
Yes, I'm here, Jason. Lekker.
100%, man. Before we get into it, have you got your mask? We gotta wear a mask.
I don't wear mask, eh? I actually don't wear mask, eh?
I don't know how true it is.
refuse.
I don't know how true it is, but I believe the police are putting people off and they're giving them fines if you're not wearing a mask in your car. Have you heard that?
Yeah, no, we'll contest that in a court later on. So they must write their paper and pens broken on mask fines. I don't think they've got the capacity to actually collect on that penalty.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. So what I'll do is when I drive to work, I'll keep it, and then if I see the Buddha, I'll quickly flip it on. But I know it's compulsory. You got to, yeah.
Before they've made it now a compulsory thing to basically test our integrity as people, which now clearly show we've got little as a society.
Yes.
We don't stand for much, you know.
Of course.
But before they actually made it a legal issue, I went to a chemist up the road from me, and they actually they prevented me to come into their chemist without a mask. So you get this secondary level of policing.
Yes, it's like
within society.
That's it. It was like every person that's walking around. If you stand there by the door at the counter, even the cashier, where's your mask? So they have become the new police.
Yeah. So I tend to challenge on a regular basis this type of authority, and I call them out. I said, well, go call who you want to call.
Yeah.
And I make a scene. I make a scene in the shop. I make people hear me, that they can see I'm standing up for my rights.
Yeah, yeah.
And I try to fight the good fight, you know, every day.
So they did not kick you out the store? No, they didn't.
No, I took my shirt off. I tied it around my face and I walked in.
Okay.
And if they wanted to continue, I would have walked in there only with a mask.
100%. You got the spirit there. Okay, Louis.
Yeah. Let me tell you a bit about myself so you know who I am.
100, yeah. Please, for the viewers out there and the listeners, yeah.
Yes. I've been. I'm a true South African.
Yeah.
Born in Klerksdorp. Dad was a miner. Went to 7 different schools as a child. And from there on, life took me into the military service for 2 years compulsory.
Yes.
Very much like a mask.
Yeah.
Very similar to a mask. You had no option. It was that or 8 years, I think, at the time. So yes, I did the 2 years, and I'd normally do the best I can at whatever I do. So I clawed out as a 1 per plute. They didn't want to give me the second one. Apparently, you have to be really good to get that second one, and I didn't really take well to authority and the doctrine that they try to bestow onto you as a national serviceman.
Yes.
And lieutenant after that, and I did 1 camp. Didn't go well. They didn't ask me again, which was a good thing. I mean, I didn't want to do camps. But then, you know, you've got to start making a living. So we went and studied a little bit. Didn't like studying. Went and worked a little bit. Didn't like working.
Yeah.
So then I became a self-employed individual. And I've been self-employed now for the last 25 years.
So you're a capitalist?
I'm a true capitalist. I believe in the force of capitalism
100%.
and the governance of capitalism.
Yeah.
You know, capitalism is a beautiful thing. You tell me a problem, I'll show you 10 capitalists that will sell you the solution.
Amen. Amen to that.
With no government intervention.
Yeah.
Whether it's your road in front of your house, Jason, if there's a problem on your road, tell enough capitalists, there'll be a solution.
Of course.
Tell government, and you'll never get the solution.
Yeah, never ever, because it's just one-track socialist mind.
Yeah. Well, so that's who I am. I'm an anarcho-capitalist, I would say, when it comes to a more defined tag for what I believe in.
Yeah, well, ANCAP, anarcho-capitalists, you know, going through and what we're going to talk about in your podcast, everything that's mentioned in your proposal is exactly that. It's ANCAP. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. But with a moral contingent.
Yeah, no, of
You
course.
need morality. You need morality. And pure capitalism don't make room for morality. And that is the only downside to capitalism. However, if your capitalism functions within one culture,
Yeah,
you don't have a morality problem.
absolutely.
Because you don't
mentioned this a
screw your
lot.
brother's kid.
Mm.
You'll screw your neighbor, you screw the guy from America's kid, but you're not going to screw your brother's child in your own country.
Exactly. That's morality, of course, knowing the difference between right and
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, 100%.
So with our diverse culture in South Africa, I mean, capitalism has been doing some really bad things.
Yeah,
They have not really flown the flag properly.
Yeah, people look at it the wrong way. There's capitalism, and then you get your corporate capitalism. Your corporate
Yes.
capitalism, they're the ones that really, you just become a number in the business. You know,
Yeah.
you don't get your perks, you don't get your benefits. You're just a number. I like to call it, you
But it
become a
goes-
commercial slave. Yeah.
But it goes deeper than that. Jason, you see what happens with a corporate, he's got you as a number at a certain price. At that price, he is conforming to all standards of minimum XYZ in the law. However, when he wants to perform a task, when it becomes too expensive to self-perform, he then outsources.
Yes.
Now that client or that supplier, outsourced agent, don't pay his people the minimum wage.
That's the thing, yeah.
He might pay him the minimum wage, but he lacks the UIF registration and many other protection for the working class. So
Yeah, of course, yes.
on my proposal, I look at both the joy of capitalism and the need for a bit of morality in the system. And that was my sort of takeoff point.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago when I started looking at where we're going.
Of course, yes. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk a bit about your proposal. For the replacement of national currency. The floor is yours.
Basically what we are talking about is on an international level, there is a world currency war raging as we speak. China, for one, has just on the 1st of May paid their first government officials the digital yuan. So with this new digital yuan, they also intend to remove the dollar base of all transactions in China. So you won't be buying your Chinese stock via the dollar anymore. And that's in test phase at the moment. So why not, now that we got this opportunity given to us by Corona, worldwide, the economy of the world is in tatters. I mean, if there's anybody out there, an economist, that wants to convince me that we have still got an economy to go back to, I would love to meet this guy.
Well,
because that light,
my favorite
at the end of that tunnel.
Yeah, my favorite economist out there is Davy Rood. He speaks a lot of sense. I like the way and the things that Davy Rood speaks.
Yes, and I think Davy is wise, but I don't think I can say much about his way of thinking because I haven't really interrogated his philosophies from my point of view. And I don't know of anybody that actually took him on. I've actually sent my currency proposal to him by email. I've had no reply though, unless I did the wrong mail or something went wrong, you know. But I've sent to a good few prominent economists my proposal for discussion. The same document I sent you, and that is a very basic document. I mean, that is written for the layman.
Yes.
There's absolutely no detail in the document that you could base anything on. I mean, that's just a white paper, you would call it, on the idea. But if you look through the document, I touch on not just the fact that I want to change the currency in the country. I also touch on a social contract, a constitution, mechanisms whereby we can administer the country, because governing don't work, you see.
Yeah.
The minute you label something being governed by a government, you've lost the fight.
Yeah.
Because governments or politicians work as follows. They salespeople, you see, they sell things. They find a problem that's identified by society. Then when elections come, they sell you the solution to that problem that you identified. Then through the term, they create stock, which is problems. So that when the next election arrives, they've got new stock to sell you so that you can vote for them to give the solution.
Yeah.
So yes, they fix some of it, but they never fix all of it, because that would make them obsolete. So they keep doing things on the one side to create a problem so that they can be relevant.
Yeah, true.
And it is like throwing good money at a bad business. As a taxpayer, we're really spending money very unwisely in society from a tax-paying point of view. So I still think tax is a form of fraud.
It's theft. Taxation is theft.
Theft, you don't know the guy takes from you. Fraud is when you know the guy took something from you, but under false pretense. And then you suffer a loss. That is the basic three legs of the Fraud Act. So I think it falls more in fraud, which is what government is all about. It's the most amazing fraud scheme that's been devised, because even at currency level, they defraud you on a daily basis, because they debase your currency, which is basically stealing a percentage of your money every year. And they call it inflation, and we all accept it as we accept that the sun will shine tomorrow.
True.
There will be inflation tomorrow. So then came along, okay, well, let's get back to my proposal.
Yeah.
So
is it crypto? Is it something that people can buy and trade with?
Well, it's crypto, but in the sense of a localized crypto that is closed off to a certain society.
Okay.
But with a door to trade on the international market as well. So you become, in effect, a borderless currency, but predominantly used in one location. So you can obtain the money anywhere in the world, but you can only really spend it where it is accepted, widely accepted. So when you want to trade your local currency internationally, you need to peg against the dollar in some cases. But because of the fact that we've got a reasonably well-established crypto economy running alongside a fiat economy, you can actually plug into the crypto side of money and trade from your local crypto to a international form of crypto. And there's many. I mean, you got Bitcoin, you got almost 100 very well-known cryptocurrencies that you can actually use to trade with in other countries.
Okay.
And then back again to your own currency if they would buy it. And to create a liquidity for your currency is not a very big ask. It's not a difficult thing to achieve. It's a couple of guarantees in place that your money is it can be used in your area, and a bit of a financial guarantee up to a certain point that you would back anybody that buys your currency in your currency. In other words, if you're buying my rand and you come here, the rand that I've sold you will have a value when you get here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say it's got a value anywhere else, but here it will have a value. So that would make it then a regional cryptocurrency. However, around this cryptocurrency, there is a tax system and a supply system like you would have with your reserve bank in your country and your tax that pays your government. Those are the two, that's where your money comes from. The Reserve Bank prints it, the banks lend it out, and the government tax the economy that's working on that money.
That's right.
The higher the velocity of the money, the more tax your government can collect. The higher your population, the more tax your government can collect. The stronger your GDP, the more money your Reserve Bank can print, provided that the government approves the printing, because there's a balance act happening between the Reserve Bank and the government on a management level, because there's 13 and a half of them are government, half are private.
Mm.
There's a board, and the Reserve Bank's got a board. I think it's 12 or 13 people, pretty evenly matched. But always more control on the Reserve Bank side than on the government side. Because the Reserve Bank's got to answer to the World Bank.
Yes.
Because they're all connected, and that is where the problem starts, is with the Reserve Bank system. So we've replaced the local currency with a cryptocurrency. We then give every citizen a basic income. That's where your morality comes from. So you don't have the need for beggars walking around on the street. You don't have to be forced into labor because you can survive. I peg this value in today's money and buying power of today's money, a minimum of 10,000 Rand a month per person. As a basic, cover your shit yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Payment. Then there's no more free hospital and free transport and free rides anywhere. You get 10 grand, you sort your welfare out.
Mm.
NGOs will still have function to really help the helpless that cannot, with that 10 grand, actually survive and become something. However, you now have got an opportunity to give people the chance to follow their passion, because they're not forced into labor. However, greed is such a nice thing that everybody wants more.
True, yeah.
And because we got capitalism, even if you give everybody 10 grand a month, believe me, capitalism will take that 10 grand and collect it somewhere else. And the rich guy will get richer, like he always do, because he knows how to work with money. And the poor guy will just get his 10 grand. But guess what? We tax every transaction.
But we forget to say corporate capitalism. We must be specific there. Corporate capitalism. He'll take that 10 grand and make them poor. 100%.
Well,
yeah.
I think I would as well. You put all those guys with their 10 grand in front of me, you see who walks out with the most. I definitely will take some of their money.
So let's continue with your proposal now.
Okay.
Who's it going to benefit?
Let me go on to the tax side of things, because this is where it becomes very interesting. So every transaction you do, and every time you do a transaction, there's a percentage tax that you pay on every transaction, whether you're buying life essential goods like bread, or whether you buy a Porsche as a luxury item, or a Gucci bag, Every time you pay for something, you pay a percentage as a tax. Now, if you can create enough money, which is not difficult if you're a reserve bank because you can print it. So within this system, there's also a printer that can just print endless amount of money.
Yes.
So now you tax every transaction. And eventually, if you run the numbers, you get to an equilibrium stage where you don't need to add more money to the system as long as the velocity of the economy is at a certain level. Then it becomes a perpetual model of economics where you don't need more money. You can now stop your printer because your tax and your velocity of transactions is high enough. You only have to sit there and tweak the tax knob, the little tax dial. Is it 10% for the next 5 days, or are we going down to 5% to maintain your monthly income for your pleb? Because your guy that's a capitalist, he doesn't really care about that 10 grand. That's like the salesman that doesn't worry about his basic salary because it's nothing in comparison to his commission check. If you take it away, yes, he'll bitch and moan, but he's not going to stop working. So you'll have a part of the population that will live off their grant, if you would call it a grant, the UBI, and you'll get a part of the population that would say, I like to work. And
UBI, that's universal basic income.
correct, yes, yes. So, but now you've got a step further. The guy can actually educate himself because he's not needy. He can use that 10 grand and sign up to a course. Some guy can teach him something, and tomorrow he's got an ability to earn more than 10 grand. The local economy will adjust to the 10 grand. The rentals will be adjusted, but small rental or low cost rentals, building loans. I'm sure everything will be able to adjust to the fact that everybody gets a basic. Because now also you must remember that you don't have the need for the infrastructure that we've got in government with regards to hospitals, transport, Transnet, all these parastatals where the money just disappears into. In my system, that will quickly become privately owned by each council. And they would negotiate deals amongst themselves with regards to what we're paying for this and who's maintaining it. And the tax system can then be lobbied to pay for certain needed things in the country from an administrative point of view.
Yeah.
And that is where we get off the Reserve Bank system and onto our own currency with its own identity and value that can be measured by other countries if they want to do business with us.
This proposal, where could people read it? Where could people get it so they can read it?
Well, it's been a bit risky in the country with regards to just putting out something that basically tells the government that you're going to take their power from them.
Yeah.
So I've sent the document to a couple of people, you being one.
Yeah, it's confidential. Yeah.
Well, at this point in time, it is public. You can find it if you look hard enough, but it's not being publicized as such. So
I'm just thinking if there's listeners and viewers out there, if they want to, they can contact you. Maybe I can put an email into my description and they can contact you.
Yes, I've got a Facebook group as well that's called Switch SA.
Okay.
Got 1,000 or so members, not very active, but I did publish the document there a couple of days ago, so it's on there. People can.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I'll plug in that link here. While we're on the subject, what cryptocurrency would you recommend and why? Everyone's talking about Bitcoin at the moment, but if you've got the money to buy Bitcoin, There's got to be
Well-
other cryptocurrencies out there that's affordable that people can afford.
Well, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is freedom. If you're looking at Bitcoin from I want to make money point of view, it is possible. I've made a shitload of money from Bitcoin over the last 8 years that I've been involved in cryptocurrencies. But I wouldn't advise Bitcoin, well, I wouldn't advise anybody to go trade anything, whether it's stocks, currencies, Forex. Trading is a very risky game.
Yes.
With regards to, there's a thing called leverage. And leverage is, you can take small money to create a very large position in a market. So if you gain, you make a shitload of money. However, if the market turns against you, you get wiped out.
Yeah.
Your little bit of money in your account is nothing because you have leveraged maybe 10 to 1 or 100 to 1. There's some places where they do 500 to 1 leverage.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you gain at 500 to 1, but you lose at 500 to 1 as well. So from a trading point of view, I wouldn't advise that to a novice. From an investment point of view, if you're looking at investments of more than 5 years, more than 4 years, Bitcoin is most probably your best investment that you can make in the crypto industry.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the whole risk to reward scenario, your Bitcoin is the safest cryptocurrency that there is at the moment due to network strength, security, the legacy value of Bitcoin. It's been around the longest. It hasn't been hacked.
And of course, it's still decentralized.
It's the only decentralized cryptocurrency, really.
Yeah.
It's the only one that doesn't have an office. All the others have offices.
Mm.
Or representation, or somebody that's got access to the code without somebody else knowing that they've got access to the code.
Yeah, you see,
That to me is centralized. So to get back to Bitcoin, I would
Yes,
like
sir.
to take this opportunity because there's a lot of people that watch your show that are not afraid with cryptocurrencies, and that's heard so much bullshit from people that convince them to invest in Bitcoin. And they all call it a Bitcoin investment. And I meet these people on a regular basis because money is my thing. And they all tell me about mining contracts, group investment schemes with Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency. Now, to explain to you mining it's a long-term game. It's a high capital input game. And your money, if you invest in one of those ventures, your money is at risk outside your control. In other words, if they don't do what they said they were going to do, you can lose money. It's not if you do what you said you're going to do, you're going to lose money. No, what you do is totally irrelevant here. Unless you do the mining yourself with your own set of computers, and then the capital output's even worse. I mean, you need millions to buy the equipment, to set up the infrastructure to be able to mine any coin for that matter. So for the novice, a big no signal when it comes to mining. Don't listen to anybody that tells you anything about mining, because 90% of the mining deals on the market are scams. And the 10% that are not scams are not people that just take anybody in either, because they are very fussy who their client is. Because their client needs to understand, you can't just take your money when you want to, sir, because there's market cycles that we have to adhere by. And this is where I want to come back to the term investment on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin runs in a four-year cycle system. Every 4 years, the supply of Bitcoin gets halved. It's called the halvening.
Yeah.
The next halving is happening now in 7 days' time on the 12th of May. Currently, if you're mining Bitcoin, I think you get 6.5 Bitcoin or something like that per block. And that's now going down to 3.25 or something like that. So as a miner, to get back to the miner now with these cycles, you're going to mine Bitcoin at a very difficult mining algorithm, because after the 12th of May, it becomes more difficult. That's how they reduce the supply. They increase the difficulty factor by 2 to half the supply. So if you work twice as hard to do the same thing, now from a financial point of view, that work twice as hard is measured in energy. And that energy has got a cost, which is your electricity. So you're paying now twice the price for electricity to generate the same amount of Bitcoin that you did yesterday on the 11th of May. You're paying double on the 13th.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those machines that you're talking about, that does the mining. Yeah, it chows a lot of electricity.
So now your mining has gone down off profitable. So if the price don't escalate quick enough, which it never does, that's how they get the small miner out of the industry, because the big miners hog the Bitcoin and they just don't sell them. And they just keep the market very low so that the small miner can't afford running his equipment at the price of the electricity to get this little bit of Bitcoin, because now it's less. And then they get shuffled out, and that's where your investment goes out the window, because the little guy that you invested in couldn't make it, couldn't survive the heat of the cycle. However, as soon as these guys are flushed out of the market, then the floodgates open. Then the market skyrockets and everybody smiles, and it's the next bull run. And this happens every 4 years. So when you buy Bitcoin, you can buy any time of the year. There is no better time than now to buy Bitcoin. And I would have told you the same thing 5 years ago. There's no better time than today.
Okay, can you see there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you buy on the international market.
Yeah, it's
to buy local. I think it's like an extra $5,000.
Yeah, 171. I can't believe it. Just last week it was 137,000 rand for a Bitcoin. It jumped up heavy.
Well, on the 15th, on the 12th of March,
yeah,
it was 80.
Just unbelievable. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. You know, let me tell you what happened to me. Last year, I had a podcast with a guy about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and he recommended to me that I must open my Luno wallet. There's my Luno wallet. I've got like, wait, how much?
$5.
$5 in my Luno wallet. Okay. But I did
you can buy a car guard.
But I did put money in from time to time, and I joined the site called Hashflare. I don't know if you heard it.
I heard about this.
I put money in, but the Hashflare at that time, the value was very little. It wasn't like Bitcoin. So I was mining Ethereum because there wasn't Bitcoin. Every time you want to buy Bitcoin, there's no Bitcoin available. So there was only Ethereum available, and the amount on the Ethereum was very small. Not the amount. So I wasn't mining really that much money. But now, what's happened now, Hashflare shut down. So, okay, it wasn't much. I probably lost about $1,000. But the idea was, my idea of
$1,000 is a lot of money.
Yes, no, it is. Well, now, especially in the lockdown, the period that we are.
If you take 100,000 people spend that money.
Of course, yeah. But the idea was, what I wanted to do was to mine, build it up,
and keep.
And then eventually buy actual Bitcoin. But yeah, I got scammed. Obviously, I got scammed.
I can give you, there's 2 websites. I will send you the link so you can add them to the bottom of your podcast. The one is dollar cost average BTC. So it's the initials DCA BTC, dollar cost average BTC.
Okay, so this is not mining, because you know, mining, obviously with mining you can put in any value, any amount that you want to.
yeah, you take my advice and stay away from mining, because those companies come and go like...
No, I learned the hard way. I learned the hard way with mining.
They come and go like the flu.
Yeah, it sounded solid proof. I really thought the mining would go until you could get enough dosh to actually buy some extra Bitcoins. But it didn't go that way.
Here's the thing, and myself made this mistake. I couldn't afford a full Bitcoin, so I never bought a full Bitcoin for a long time. And then some light bulb went on one day when I was looking at a podcast of some guy in Europe, and I realized, hey, shit, you can buy fractions of this stuff. You don't have to buy a full one. And at the time also, the FNB bank in South Africa made PayPal available, and I could actually, without a credit card, buy Bitcoin. That was the other thing that kept me from buying initially as well. I couldn't buy it unless I had a credit card, and I don't do banks much. I really don't like banks, so they don't get me into credit at all. I don't have any credit. Don't owe nobody money. So then I managed to start buying some Bitcoin via PayPal, and Luno started developing as well, and they started getting the facility where you can transfer straight from your bank account to them and then back to you. And I started buying through Luno. But even before I bought through Luno, I bought through a company or a website called localbitcoins.com, which you can buy in South Africa. And
so what's the minimum? What's the minimum that you can buy on this? What you were saying now, what the links that you're going to provide?
I think Luno is what, $50 minimum. Yeah. They'll execute a trade of $50 and more. So you can start buying $50 at a time, $50 at a time, and dollar cost average into the market, and not. And even if you've got a shitload of money, it's never a good idea to just bang all your money in one go into anything, for that matter. You buy a little bit, wait a week or two, buy another little bit, wait a week or two, and you continue buying like that, because that way you even out the fluctuation of the commodity, or in this case Bitcoin as a crypto. So
that's also one of the reasons why I'm having this podcast tonight, is because we're going through this rough period at the moment. People, my daughter's one of them. 50% of her salary she did not get. There's people out there that are actually getting 30% of their salary. Some are actually getting not getting anything. So there has to be something. But when I speak to people about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and that, they get a bit scared and they back off.
Yeah, because it's been villainized. Bitcoin has been villainized by the same people that's telling you about Corona. It's the same crowd, Jason. I promise you, it's the exact same crowd. There's no virus.
Yeah.
Well, there's a virus, but there was a virus last year, and the year before there was another one. And
every year there was some different virus.
And I've heard, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't really speak on the topic, but in my limited research that I've done on the topic, it didn't take me long to realize that this is bullshit. You know, my opinion is that with media hype, they created such a level of fear in the country that
no, they did.
That people gone completely crazy. That's my opinion.
Yeah, people gone crazy.
And now after the fact, there's been reports that Italy has confessed that 99% of the people that died had other conditions. There was something like 27 people that died of the flu, and they are not even sure if those 29 people were Corona or Corona-19 or whichever Corona it was, because most of the testing, as far as I know, can't even tell you whether it's which Corona it is. They can only test for the coronavirus.
That's it. Yeah, there was a
particular coronavirus.
Yeah, there was a thing on Fox News not so long ago that what's happening at the hospitals in America, for every patient that comes in,
No,
regardless
there's a
if it's just the
monetary.
common cold, the common flu, they've just been ticked off as coronavirus, and they're actually getting paid for it. They're getting paid big money
Yeah.
for it.
No, I think
So those
I
figures in
saw
America
that.
are fudged.
That was big money. That was big money those guys were paying. I mean,
Yeah, it's fudged, all those figures. It's sad. It's crazy.
yeah. So it's the same people that's telling you Bitcoin is bad via the media. I mean, I've just listened to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett just lost $50 billion for his company. What's it? Hathaway, something Hathaway. And this is a guy that said that Bitcoin is rat poison.
Mm.
You know, he just lost 50 billion US dollars
Just
of his clients' money. His clients' money, remember, not his money, his clients' money.
Yeah.
You got JP Morgan of JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon. The guy is at the top of one of the biggest banks in America, and he publicly on television in America said that Bitcoin is a scam.
Which
So
it's not.
you got this mainstream media agenda that only basically talk good of the narrative they want you to believe is good.
Yeah.
Or bad for that matter, if it needs to be bad. And they've got their tentacles in everywhere. I mean, I've seen some confessions of people that work for Google and Facebook, Twitter. All these companies have got people working in their AI, in their IT department within AI, artificial intelligence. It's writing algorithms and software bots that create people, okay?
Mm.
You go and advertise on their platform, and the bot is one of the people that click on your ad, and you pay them for a bot to click on your ad.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, this is the type of skullduggery that is happening in society today, and people don't have a clue what's going on around them. They're not exposed. I mean, a plumber
Brainwashed.
don't know what the doctor does.
Yeah, people are brainwashed. I mean, I've just seen on social media over the last few days. I mean, it's only been 2 days. We're now level 4. And I've seen videos on Facebook how people are driving past malls where the shopping malls are trying to control the traffic control. You know, your certain amount of people that's got to be in the store. And it's like all they do is just phone in the cops and saying, look at these people. They don't have masks on. They're not using sanitizers. But just like, what are they trying to do? I mean, come on. We just came out of a period of a month where people had to sit at home, not getting an income. We just want to go back to work. In all fairness, we just want to go back to work.
You know, government's taking advantage of the goodwill they've got in society. There's a lot of goodwill in society for government, not for the ANC as such, but for government and authority. People generally comply with the law. Majority of us in this country, we're actually very good law-abiding citizens that just want to get on with our day.
And we have. We sat in our homes.
However, government is now taking the mickey from us because that goodwill was on the assumption that there's a legitimate fear for our lives, and this would be the best remedy today. Fast forward to the current date, we've had all these things that I've just told you about, Italy confessing, people showing us videos in America of New York hospitals that's empty.
Yeah.
There's a hashtag film your hospital or hashtag video your hospital. And I mean, you must go see this stuff on there. All these makeshift. I mean, there's nothing happening. There's no dead people. You look at international or national figures of population growth and decline, there's no change.
Yeah, I have.
There's no real change. There was a graph on the World Health Organization. No, not World Health. It was CDC.gov, America.
Central Disease Center, yeah.
Yeah, Contagious Disease Center or something like that. And it showed the annual flu deaths for America for the last 7 or 8 years. And each line on the graph was a different color. And it was so nice that they made 2020 red, so you could really see it, you know. And all the lines on the graph followed each other. Yes, there were peaks and there were troughs of this graph, how it went across the year. And then you get the red one for the current year. It runs all along nicely up until January, 1st of January. And then it nosedives. And then all of a sudden, if you read this graph, you say to yourself, but I didn't know they found a cure for the flu. Because all of a sudden, nobody's dying of flu. And then I researched this, and you won't believe this. In their documentation, they actually covered themselves for that. They said data lag causes the current year not to comply to previous years. If seen. So if you see something's not right, it's because data lags. And I must be honest with you, I've been watching that graph and nothing much has been changing from January till today.
Of course, yes.
Because of this that you said, people are being paid to lie.
Yep.
And I mean, so, okay, so COVID-19, same people. Same people are telling you, don't touch Bitcoin.
Yeah, no. Well, my next
And
question
the
is...
reason they do this,
Yeah.
there's a reason they do this. And to me, it makes sense that this whole COVID thing has actually happened now. Because the next, like I told you, the halvening of Bitcoin is happening in May. That's going to put a hell of a lot of marketing value on the Bitcoin environment or industry or economy, because everybody's now going to know that because it experienced the halvening event, the supply is less, so the price more than likely will go up.
Yeah.
Because it has gone up every other cycle for the last 12 years. And well, there we go. So now they don't want, they don't want freedom for society. And
that's what I was thinking. I was going to say now, but that's the thing. Have you read the book or heard of the book called George Orwell, 1984?
Yeah, 1984. And Animal Farm.
Exactly. For all the viewers out there, go and get yourself a copy. There's actually an audio version on YouTube. Now, I don't know. I'm saying this now. YouTube might ban it now. But the audio version is out there. George Orwell, 1984.
Yeah.
Everything that's been
version for you.
Yeah, it's happening.
I've got a very short version for you on George Orwell. Just go back and find the Another Brick in the Wall video of
Pink Floyd. Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd.
It's like an abbreviated version of Orwell's work.
It is actually, now that you think, yeah, it is actually. It is very much similar. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Much more graphical impact though.
Yeah.
It scares the little kids.
Of course, yes. Okay, let's get back to my questions. While we're on the topic now, is it true that during the course, maybe let's say in the next 5 or 10 years, fiat currency, which is paper money, will become null and void, and that crypto will be the future?
You know, Jason, good question. And my answer is going to be like follow. More than likely, before you are out of lockdown, cash would be off the table.
It's a concern.
Before you are out of lockdown, cash will be off the table, at least in some countries, if not all. I think the fact that we are going that direction, I mean, you've got no option. You are going to go digital in money. They are saying money is dirty, it's got to be quarantined. I mean, I don't know if you don't remember, then in China, they quarantined all the cash in the lockdown. You could not move cash in lockdown time in Wuhan.
You know what they did here in South Africa? a couple of people, well, you know, the criminals out there, they went to people's houses and say they're from the Reserve Bank. The money's been contaminated. You need to give us back the money and then go to the bank and then get your refund. And some
I'm
people
sure
fell
some
for it.
people gave them.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, you see.
No, you're right what you're saying.
Brainwashed.
We are
But
using
brainwash is a harsh term, though.
Yeah.
You know, brainwash is a harsh term because I know how it is. I know how it is. You got people, they work, they earn a living.
Yeah.
They don't want to hold them, they don't want to keep themselves busy with shit after graft.
Of course, yes.
They want to go home, open up a calling, sit
Good
with a
table.
wife, have a chat, go watch the kids play something or listen to the kids' achievements from school for the day, spend
Yeah.
that bit of quality time, watch a telly for an hour or so, go to bed, and they'll go and do that shit job tomorrow again. Just to have that 3 or 4 hours for themselves, just to enjoy life.
But we don't have to do that
cannot-
shit job.
But you cannot expect that guy to know what the hell is going on around him.
Yeah.
He's not informed. He's got no interest in being informed
Yeah.
because he just wants to live a life and enjoy his life. He's got other priorities. And yes, there's people that ask the questions, and gratefully so. There's guys like you. I suppose I'm one of them. But the majority of society don't have the time to question every little thing that happens. And
That's true.
unfortunately, if you don't, well, you get quarantined, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, look, this is just the thing. I mean, Luno, your Luno app, you can, if you get your earnings from your crypto, whatever crypto you're on, you can go to, well, not all stores. I know Pick n Pay do it, and you can purchase goods off your Luno app. So that is the future. It is happening.
Yeah. Look, to get back to that money thing, the important thing I need to say to your viewers is you've got a choice here. You have to consider the information that I'm going to give you now. You've got a choice to decide what type of digital money you're going to use in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to use government oppressed money, you will suffer the consequences. And the consequences are dire. You're going to be forced into a position, if you choose that side of the coin, where if you don't toe the line, and I mean, we're wearing masks, I would be locked up because I won't be able to get away. Because the minute they know about me, they cut my finances and I will come to them. They don't come look for you. You will come to them.
Of course.
You will find where the hell they are and you'll go there because you need food.
Yes.
Because without access to your finances, you are screwed. So that is the one side of the money that we've got. Then you've got freedom money. Freedom money is Bitcoin. And this cryptocurrency that I've got on my proposal is also a form of freedom money. It's not a money whereby I can flick a switch and take you off the system. I cannot. It is decentralized, open source technology that every citizen that would use this money will be able to audit government from his phone.
100%.
So can you imagine the power that you give back to the citizen when he can type a government department wallet address into his phone and see what the balance is and see if a certain person has received money from that particular balance.
Yeah, of course.
You sit there and you can query whether a contract was paid or not. The beauty about it as well is once you've got such a transparent system and people understand it, can you imagine the innovation that we can perform when the money goes the right way? When the money don't go into the shithole, when the money actually goes to the new road, the new stadium, the new facility for this, the new internet infrastructure in our town,
Fix all the freaking
Wi-Fi.
potholes.
Well, potholes, you'll have a committee. I've got software that I wrote that's currently being used by the lifting industry. It's called OSCheck. And it's a software that basically helps you to manage your inspection of things. So it's got one side where you can add an item or an asset, and the other side where an inspector can go and inspect that item or asset according to the criteria that you've entered. And can you imagine the job opportunity here? Each person can log on to the system and create government assets that he visually can identify in his neighborhood. Another person can then take, oh, here's a thing that needs inspection once every 3 months, a street light. He can then go, take a photo of the street light and confirm that it's working after 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant.
And my currency that I want to involve the country with can then pay that guy on the spot when he submits.
Yes, of course.
And we're still worried about how to get food parcels to the 4-kilometer queue. This is how far behind our government is in future thinking.
Yes.
We are dealing with people that are so engrossed in greed and self-loathe. It's sad, my friend, it's sad.
Yeah,
and there's systems, trust me, Jason, the systems are there, they're transparent, they function, but people are scared because it's crypto and it's Bitcoin and everybody got taken for a fool.
Oh, that's the thing. You see,
so
that's my next question. My next question is fits perfect into what we say now. How will society adjust to crypto, and especially in a country like South Africa, where the majority of its people don't even have a basic understanding and how economics works? I've said this on almost every podcast.
It's a very difficult one, and I'm going to tell you what a friend of mine said. Musima Nyani, I think you know the guy. Used to be there by the DA.
Used to be.
Handle them. Yeah, used to be there.
Used to be by the DA.
He actually said to me, you know, the 4th industrial revolution is on top of us. And we still don't have UBI. So then I said to him, look, but we've got crypto. Why don't we just give them crypto? He said that would be a wonderful idea because everybody's got a telephone. So I don't think that if you don't know macro and the difference between macro and microeconomics and all serious financial understanding of serious instruments in finance, and you don't need education. You need to be able to count to 10, know how to use a cell phone, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, because economics is not really mathematics.
My local dealer can't wait to get crypto in the country. He says his business would flourish.
No, there you go, 100%. Yeah.
So I don't think we've got a problem. I really don't. I think we underestimate our population. I think our population is in a sense playing a game with authority and with the aristocrats in corporate finance.
Yeah.
I think labor plays a game. I mean, we keep ourselves stupid, you know, because otherwise we have to do so much for them.
When I was in my 20s and I became a sales manager in Checkers, I didn't really have much knowledge on marketing and that and how to sell stuff. So what does anybody do? And what's the advice I can give? I give it to everybody these days is go to the library. Go to the library, open the books and teach yourself on marketing, how it really works and how to become a salesperson. And that helped. It helped me.
Yeah.
Years later, I was 29 years old. I became the youngest store manager in the group in Checkers. I'm talking about in the early 2000s. But what a feeling it was to become the youngest store manager in a retail
Of
group.
course.
And
Of
all
course.
through just teaching yourself, going to a library, because the internet, okay, not everybody had internet access back in those days. It was very expensive.
Yeah, it was
So
limited.
the only
eh?
access was the library. Go to the library and I
Yeah,
took my scribble book down and I made notes. And
yeah.
it helped me.
I really don't think we'll have a problem. I think our 30% pass rate population is actually much more clever or
They're clever with all the
streetwise
wrong
than
stuff.
what
Yeah.
they pretend to be.
Yeah.
Nobody has ever given them a reason to excel because there's no hope for the masses. No,
That's what
not
worries
in
me.
this country, not in the
Yeah.
way the country is being run. You cannot build a future on a country that's running backwards faster than what you can run forward.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
so I don't think there's a problem. I think it'll be a good thing. If you look at it from a crime point of view, you automatically take away any cash-related crime.
Mm.
And with my system as a currency, there's other benefits, like if I can identify that you sell crystal meths in my neighborhood on that address of your wallet, I can publish that wallet address to my community and say to them, if I find anybody that trades with that wallet address, I don't do business with you either.
Ah. Hmm.
So 20 people now in town that own businesses won't do business with anybody else that does business with that guy. So economically, you push him out of the circle. So what will happen? We'll get a Walletjiestraat like in Holland, where all the shit goes down. The prostitutes, the drug dealers, they all live in Walletjie Street.
Mm.
Why? Because it's allowed there. So you'll have society. We don't have to criminalize anything. If you don't like it, either you leave, or if your society is strong enough, you'll make them leave.
Yeah.
So we'll have a little town like Oranje, but you'll be able to buy the best skyf there, you know, or the best LSD there.
I think
Those people are not in your town anymore because you got control.
exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
But as a society, not as an authority.
Yeah.
Because the minute you give control to an authoritative person, and you've seen it every day, every gate that you drive through in South Africa, there's some guy with petty authority syndrome that wants you to write the honesty book.
Yeah. That authoritarian that's out there.
Yes, I was put here to do this job. I'm only doing my job. And sorry to say, it's not what it's about. Yes, do your job, but do it with style, you know?
Mm.
Add a bit of pizzazz.
I'm with you on that one, yeah.
Yeah.
Louis, lekker. I think we've been talking over an hour now. I don't know, what time did we start? I didn't see what time we
I
started.
want to tell you another thing that you might not know or
Go for it.
about. Yeah. 2014, yeah, in Durban, because I'm in Durban. I'm actually in Umhlanga, but just down the road here in Durban.
I was in Umhlanga last year. Cornubia Mall, Macro. I was there last year.
Okay.
I helped the opening. I was there for the opening
Yes.
of Cornubia. We did
the new one.
we did the
just up road here
security.
from me.
Yeah, we did the security in the car guards there. Cornubia Macro. Last year March. Yeah.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, how are you guys going to sort out your car guards and the income when cash is not available?
Yeah.
Don't they get tips?
Yeah, it's tips. Yeah, the car guards they work off. It's donations. Yeah.
Yeah. So how are they going to get by when there's no money, no cash?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's already affecting them.
Yeah, I've tried. You know, there was an app called Kuisha, I think it's called, through Pick and Pay, where it's like a barcode, like a Zapper barcode. So each car guard wears this on his shirt and then customers would come by and then scan it with any bank app. It works with any banking app. But it didn't take off. as well as what it should. I mean, Van der Bijl Park, I think the people, but I know in areas like in Sandton and in
But I
Rosebank,
tell you what,
that works great.
you know, okay, let me tell you the story quickly about the 2014 event. Myself and I was in a meetup. Do you know Meetup? It's a software platform for getting together,
No.
but not for O's and cherries, you know.
Yeah.
It's for people with common interests. Like you would find a photography group
Yes.
or a bunch of guys that like vegetarian cooking,
Yes.
bike together. Any case, this was a bunch of guys that enjoy cryptocurrencies. We got together and we actually convinced a coffee shop here in Durban to sell a cup of coffee at the going rate of coffee for the equivalent in Bitcoin. Now, just quickly to tell you what the value in Bitcoin was of a 20-buck cup of filter coffee back in 2014 was 0.0144 Bitcoin. Okay, that was 20 Rand in 2014. If I have to go buy or cash in the same amount of Bitcoin today for Rand, ready? Wait for it. Here it comes. 2,361 Rand on the 1st of the 5th.
Unreal.
That same 20 bucks worth of Bitcoin.
Unreal.
So when I said to you, take your 50 bucks and just go and buy. It's the best
Yeah,
thing
those
you can
links.
do.
You got to send me those links. I need to plug in. I need to plug those links in here.
I'll send all of them to you. I'll actually send you, I can send you a photo of this transaction on the screen of the computer in the shop. The very first coffee transaction in South Africa of Bitcoin. That was recorded. There might have been another one, but not recorded.
Yeah.
It was a recorded transaction with detail.
Interesting.
Yeah, so anybody that wants to buy Bitcoin, they should. They should. It's freedom personified. Don't worry about the money.
Of
Worry
course,
about,
do the necessary
about
research.
freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, look.
Educate yourself.
If you buy Bitcoin, make sure you know what your private key is. If you figured out what the private key in a Bitcoin transaction is, you are there. Then you will know how to buy and how to safekeep.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to safekeep, I've got a business that's called Vaulted Freedom. You won't find it anywhere. It's not a registered business. It's a word of mouth organization because it's an unregulated environment. I only work on referral type business and I help people to safeguard their crypto investments.
Of course.
So Vaulted Freedom, because crypto is freedom, so it's Vaulted Freedom. I keep your crypto safe for you if you can't keep it safe. Alternatively, while I'm keeping it safe for you, I'm teaching you so that you can take it and keep it safe yourself. So the idea is not to forever have a marriage with you that I'm keeping your asset for you. The idea is I can help you buy it and keep it safe until you're ready. Because that's a problem in the crypto industry. There's nobody that lead you by the hand and show you what happens next and how to do this.
Because of the scammers out there. There's just too many scammers out there.
And then of course the amount of fear that's been created already. People are so shit scared of dealing with Bitcoin because they know they're going to get burned. And I, that know, can tell you that you will get burned if you don't know what you're doing.
Of course, if you don't know what you're doing.
Because the first guy that realizes you don't know what you're doing is going to take you.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
That's
so that's the one thing was the Vaulted Freedom and the 2014 Bitcoin price for a cup of coffee in South Africa is now 2,361 rands worth of investment if you bought that cup of coffee then as an investment.
Absolutely crazy.
So yeah, that's where I come from.
That's it. Plug in your links. I'll put it on my description.
Yes, I'll send you that. What's it? The Facebook link, the
Facebook link and the ones for the Bitcoin.
one two photos, and
Where you can put 50 Rand in. Yeah.
yeah, the cost to flow. I would.
Yeah.
There's a cost stock to flow ratio graph, which is a very good graph for anybody that wants to know about Bitcoin, to just have a visual representation of what it does.
Yes.
And then the dollar cost average onto Bitcoin, which basically means you're buying a little bit at a time over a long period of time.
That's the idea. Yeah, that's the idea.
And this little website actually gives you it's a nice tool. You put in how much you're prepared to spend, how often, and when and then you can backdate it and say, let's say if I started, say 5 years ago, what would I have put in, and what would my investment value be worth today?
Oh, cool.
So that's a very nice little tool. It can't project future because it doesn't have the price. This price is now. We don't know what the future is going to be. But if all goes well, Bitcoin should reach $100,000 by December 2021. That's in about 18 months' time. You will tenfold your money if you invest in Bitcoin today.
Yeah, no, of course.
And the reason being is you're at the right time of the cycle. If you bought at the height of the previous cycle, which was the end of 2017, you would have paid maybe 20,000 Rand for your $20,000 for Bitcoin that is now only worth 10.
Yeah.
But from 2017 December, fast forward 4 years, and then reevaluate the value of that investment you made 4 years ago.
Yeah, true.
Because of the cycle of Bitcoin. And that is the thing people don't get told. They get told, listen, buy Bitcoin, you're going to make money. Yes, if you hold on to it for at least 5 years, you will make money.
Yeah, that's the idea.
And by the way, Bitcoin is it has just made a new all-time high on the 200-day moving average of the currency value. So if you exclude the fluctuation over a 200-day average, so that just takes out fluctuation and it gives you a solid line graph. We're just about to make a new all-time high, a historical all-time high, not just a recent all-time high. This is the highest the 200-day moving average has ever been for Bitcoin.
Flipping hell.
So yeah, those people that tell you Bitcoin went down and it's died, the death of Bitcoin has been proclaimed. I think there's a website that actually records every news article in mainstream media that proclaims Bitcoin to be dead. And they follow. I think we're like on a couple of thousand times Bitcoin has been proclaimed dead in society.
Yeah, the bubble. Everyone speaks about that little bubble.
Yeah. But the real bubble we're waiting for is the everything bubble that we're busy experiencing right now.
Absolutely.
And COVID's been the catalyst. When you're making surfboards or custom beach buggies, and you're building that fiberglass body and that catalyst that makes it all happen.
True. Anyway,
Corona is the one that did that.
Dango, I just want to do my closing. End it off there, and then I'll just Dango stay there. Louis, thanks once again. Thank you very much for joining. I hope the viewers out there will take some good advice on that. The links I will plug in. My podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Pocket Cast, Anchor FM. There's 11 platforms out there. Also, this will be available on YouTube and BitTube. To my viewers out there, thank you very much. See you again next week, and stay safe, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.